everyone, welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you a very classic South Indian dish called Puliyotharai. It's a tamarind paste full of flavor and spiciness. Traditionally it's mixed with rice, but you can mix it with quinoa or even spread it on top of a toast. Let's look at the ingredients that we need. For the Puliyotharai paste, you need a teaspoon of mustard seeds, tablespoon of urad dal, 2 tablespoons of chana dal, a teaspoon of fenugreek seeds, half a cup of peanuts, 2 tablespoons of cashew nuts, half a teaspoon of hing, quarter teaspoon of turmeric, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 20 to 30 red chilies depending on how spicy you want it, 1/3 of a cup of raw tamarind. If you have tamarind paste, then quarter cup should be good. 1/3 of a cup of any clear oil, 2.5 cups of water. For the Puliyotharai powder, you need about a teaspoon of coriander seeds, teaspoon of fenugreek seeds, and about 3 tablespoons of sesame seeds. Preferably white sesame seeds, but if you can get white, you can also use black sesame seeds. Let's start by prepping the tamarind. If you have tamarind paste, you can skip this step. Look for any seeds the tamarind may have. The tamarind seed should look something like that. Once you've taken out all the seeds, add about a cup of water and microwave the tamarind for about 2 minutes. Once it's hot, take an immersion blender, or you can also put it in a regular food processor or blender and blend the mixture well. You want to make sure that you're able to incorporate the water and the tamarind so it becomes into a paste. The paste is going to be fibrous, it's not going to be smooth, but that's okay. Add the rest of the water that we have and mix it well. Resist the urge to add more water. The more water you add, the longer it's going to take for the water to evaporate when we're making the Puliyotharai paste. Next, we're going to prepare the red chilies. I'm going to break up the red chilies into smaller pieces. If you don't have red chilies, you can also use red pepper flakes. You would need about a quarter cup to a half a cup depending on how spicy you want it. Once I have it in smaller pieces, I put it in the blender and I'm gonna blend it up with stems and all. If you don't prefer the stems, you can take it out. For me, it gives added flavor. And the blended mixture should look something similar to this. Next, we're going to dry roast all the spices that we need to make the Puliyotharai powder. First, we're going to dry roast the fenugreek seeds. When you're dry roasting the fenugreek seeds, if they're roasted really well, they will turn golden brown and they'll start to spin around in the pan. When you're dry roasting the spices, you want to make sure that the heat is on medium-low or low heat. Otherwise, they will burn very quickly. Next, we're going to dry roast the coriander seeds and also the white sesame seeds the exact same way. Once they're roasted, keep them aside so they can cool down before we can make them into a powder. Now we're ready to make the Puliyotharai paste. In a white saucepan, add the 1/3 cup of oil that we have and heat it up. Once the oil is hot enough, we're going to add the mustard seeds and let the mustard seeds splutter. To this, we're going to add the urad dal and chana dal and roast it until they're golden brown in color. We're going to add the fenugreek seeds and roast it. After about 10 or 15 seconds, we're going to add the curry leaves. The curry leaves are going to turn very crispy as they're cooking in the oil. That takes anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds. Be careful as you're adding the curry leaves as they tend to splutter. To this, we're going to add the crushed red peppers and roast it for about 30 to 40 seconds. We don't want to burn it, we just want to infuse the oil and the pepper. Make sure that you have the exhaust turned on, otherwise you'll be coughing non-stop for 5 minutes. Once it's roasted, we're going to add the turmeric powder, the hing powder, and going to roast it again for 10 seconds or so. Once everything is roasted, we're going to add the tamarind pulp. We're going to strain the pulp using our hands just to take out the fibrous parts. If you have tamarind paste, dilute it with 1.5 cups of water and add it in. To this, we're going to add the peanuts, the cashew nuts, and the salt, and we're going to mix it in. Let this mixture boil for about 10 to 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. While that's cooking, let's make the puliyotharai powder. In a blender, we're going to take the roasted fenugreek seeds, roasted coriander seeds, and roasted sesame seeds, and blend it in until it's a coarse powder. The puliyotharai paste has been boiling for about 10 minutes, and as you can see, it's starting to come together. It's been now about 15 minutes, and as you can see, the oil is starting to separate to the top. That's a good indication that your puliyotharai paste is done. Another way to tell if your puliyotharai paste is done is when you run the spoon to the bottom of the pan and separate the puliyotharai paste, it will remain separated for about 2 to 3 seconds. Here you can see that in the slow motion. At this point, turn off the heat and add the puliyotharai powder that we made earlier and combine it well. And your puliyotharai paste is done. You can store it in an airtight container inside the refrigerator for about 2 to 3 weeks. Thank you again for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.